And welcome back. This is Kimberly Adams Mann of the Adams Mann team at Shore West Realtors, and I'm here with Russell Mann, and we've been talking about home inspectors and questions regarding the home inspection. And this is Russ, our buyer's agent for the Adams Mann team.
Hello everyone, welcome back.
And this is like what we're calling module 2, or the second part. It's probably going to be a little shorter than the first part because we're just going to talk about one smaller aspect of the home inspection. So when we've been talking about the home inspection, and we ended with whether the seller would be there or not, and the next question is, well, how much does a typical home inspection cost?
Well, typically a home inspection can cost anywhere from $300 to $500. We always recommend people keep aside $500 for the home inspection in case, our typical home inspectors will charge around $350. But sometimes you'll need a secondary inspection that they would recommend, like a basement inspector or electrical inspection, because as we mentioned before, they're not specialists in any one field. So if they notice something that maybe maybe the basement wall's out of plumb, maybe it's got some cracks, but they could have been there 30 years with no problem. So
Right.
They might recommend that you call in a basement specialist just to give you the all clear or to tell you how much it's going to cost to fix it.
Sure. And how do they determine their pricing as far as like when they're pricing out how much the home inspection costs for the main home inspection? What do they use to determine that pricing?
Well, generally it's done on square footage, and if there's, like mechanicals to test, we've had it in some cases where if you're moving into a condo, it may be a shared furnace. They don't always come with, their own furnace in these units. Sometimes there's a communal one that does the whole block. And so therefore they wouldn't necessarily test that because that's regularly monitored for everybody. So, it's not personal to your unit.
Right. So basically the square footage is a determination, and then another determination is the components that they have to test, how many there are.
Yeah, and it comes down to, how long is the inspection going to take? If it's a smaller area, with no mechanicals, then typically it's going to be a lot quicker for them to do that inspection, so hence the lower price.
And vice versa, obviously, if they have to do a larger house with maybe multiple furnaces or water heaters or those elements, then they would charge a bit more because they have more to inspect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So a lot of people are like, well, why 15, we already kind of talked about why, if you have 15 days for your home inspection, why do you need to schedule it that first week? Why are we trying to get that scheduled so quickly?
Well, you need to contact them straight away because obviously home inspectors are busy people as well. They have lots of other clients that they're working for. So they may not be able to turn around and do it the following day for you. So I certainly wouldn't leave it, you turn around and say, well, I've got 15 days, I can do that next week on my day off. No, we need that scheduled straight away because it may be a week out before they can get to doing your home. That's why we always give you more than one so you can choose from them and see who can do it quickest. The next point is that we need as much time as possible to be able to go over that report, question any aspects of that report that we're not clear on. That may be contacting the home inspector to give us a call back so that we can talk it over with them to find out what that finding was. And then we need to write out a report. If we're going to ask for any fixes, we need to give the seller plenty of time to be able to get those quotes in or to agree. Sellers are busy people as well. They may not see it till the following day. And so we need to give everybody in the transaction as much time as possible to get that sorted.
So you talk about follow-up inspections and needing the time for that. What are some typical follow-up inspections that happen on a property? What are probably the most common ones?
The most common is probably basements, roofing, and electrical, and sometimes plumbing.
Yeah, I would agree. Um, and very rarely do we have structural ones that come in. But as a result, you know, those follow-up inspections can cost anywhere from $100 to $200 each. So, you know, that's why it's good to have that extra money set aside.
Yeah.
Um, in case you need it. Like a typical home inspection costing $350, it's good to have 500, 600, 700 set aside, especially if it's a larger house. It might be a good idea to have almost 1,000 set aside just because there's so many extra components that might need to be tested.
Yeah, I agree.
And who pays, I mean, I was going to say, who pays for those follow-up inspections?
Well, the buyer has to pay for those follow-up inspections, although sometimes a seller may pay for it. And that's generally if they disagree with an aspect of the home inspection. I haven't come across it yet, but I have heard of it happening where the sellers disagreed with a certain aspect where the inspector has said, well, the roof is, needs repair. And they said, no, I had it repaired 2 years ago. It's perfectly all right. And they've called out a roofing specialist to check and verify that it's all in good order.
Sure. And I think that's probably where we're going to kind of end this module. I mean, it's a little bit shorter, but then it kind of is a good segue into our next one. So thanks for joining us for module number 2, and we'll be back with module number 3 here in just a little bit.
Okay, see you soon.